Good morning, everybody. Today, we're going to talk about the difficulties that come along when you start comparing your life to other people's lives in just about every aspect that you can think of. Let's have some coffee and we'll chat about it. Hold on. All right, let's get started. Let's talk today about the dangers of comparison in your personal life, in your career, any of it, quite honestly. The challenge with comparing yourself to others is that everybody's on their own timeline. Everybody's on their own career path. Everybody's on their own family path. Everybody does things at their own timing. And it's really hard for people who suffer with any amount of insecurity to get past comparison, quite honestly. I know this. I was one of those people. I was one of those people for a long, long time. I have family members who are like that as well. And I started to recognize it quite a long time ago. And it still affects me from time to time, now and then. But I've really decided that I needed to just take control of it and turn it into something different. And today, I'm going to tell you how to do that. So, comparison. Why is it so bad? It's bad because you're you. You're not anybody else. You're you. I'm me. I couldn't be, somebody else. I am not, a CEO. I'm not one of those people. I'm not a counselor. I'm not I can't build a bridge, right? I can't do a lot of those things out there that I could potentially compare myself to. Hey, this other person can build all these cool things in their shop, in their garage. I get halfway through building a ladder and I've got crooked steps. I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's not for me, right? Maybe I ought to stop comparing myself to somebody who's been building these types of things for a long time. What it does is it enhances that insecurity in you, okay? And this goes across all aspects of your life. And that's where this becomes really, really dangerous. It's one thing to compare yourself to somebody at work. And I don't even think that's healthy. Let me tell you what I do at work, okay? What I do instead of comparing myself to somebody is I'll take a snapshot. Where am I? Where are they? Okay, now I've got something to strive towards. What are the steps it takes to move toward being at that level or being that smart at something? Or listen, at work, if I wanted to learn some new fandangled, piece of application software or something, or let's just say, take for example, it took me a long time to learn how to use Excel to its full potential. Now I can zip through Excel and turn things into basically origami, at that point. So, but it took me a long time to learn how to do all that stuff. And when I started, I was like, gosh, these guys are really good at this. And then I just sat down. I started learning. I had to put it into practice. I have found that for me, learning from a book doesn't work that well. I didn't like high school, didn't like college. I don't like studying for exams. I do take them, but I don't like studying for exams. I don't like being recertified in the things I'm certified in because it's a pain in my butt. I got to sit there and study, and I don't like that. I like doing. So I found that to be a big difference for me, right? Other people, they can do all the time. I also had a guy that when I worked for a large telecommunications company a long time ago, he was a head of network security. And this guy, I started comparing myself to on day one. Didn't know how to strive to be at his level yet. I started comparing myself to him. This guy had a PhD in like physics or something like that. This guy was brilliant. He wrote books, full-blown books about the tech industry. And I was comparing myself to him, saying, I'm never going to be that good. I'm never going to be that level. I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to do that. And one day in my head, it clicked. And I was like, you know what? Stop. Stop comparing myself to somebody who went to school for what, 16 years just to do this. Well, 8, 10 years, something like that, just to do this. And start with where I'm at and figure out how I can strive to have those aspects of what I liked or admired about that person in my life. So I started working towards, hey, what do I want to do? What's my first step? Well, I need to learn this portion of the business. Boom, 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 boom. I sat down, I started playing with stuff, I started messing with stuff, because again, I don't learn by books. Some people do. If that's for you, pick up a book, start reading, start doing your stuff, you're good to go. I started doing and doing and doing. And eventually, I moved on into a different part of IT. But when I moved on to that different part of IT, I thought, man, I'm going to go ahead and get these certifications out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and keep doing this, because I was building programs from the ground up at the company that I was working for. And so I went and got certified. 3 different certifications from one organization. And then I started writing articles. And I thought, I'm just going to write an article to write it. I don't really care. I just think it's cool. It's something I want to do. Sure enough, I got published multiple times. And I looked back and I went, man, it just took that right step to get there. I needed to stop comparing myself and start striving for what I wanted. So in your career, stop comparing yourselves to others. Okay? They've been doing this on a different path than you. And maybe your path has more boulders in the way. Maybe there was a landslide on your path. I don't know. But everybody's path is different, right? Some people you can say, man, they must have had it easy. A lot of people say that about me. They're like, man, that guy really is successful, and he really, he's got it made, and it's just not fair. I want to be like him. Hey, don't discount the 25 plus years I had to put into working my butt off with no college degree to get to where I'm at, right? A lot of people don't see that part. So stop stop doing comparisons, if my English would work right, and start striving. Pick little pieces of what you like about that person or that role or that this or that, and start chasing it, right? Second thing is in your personal life, building a family. I can't say this enough. There are 19-year-olds that have kids that get married at 20, and they get either divorced at 21, or they spend the rest of their lives with that same person, and they're happy-go-lucky and everything's beautiful. Listen, everything's different for everybody. There's people that don't get married till they're 40 or 50. There's people that never get married. There's people that get married at 30 and have to rush to have kids, and they feel like, oh my gosh, I gotta have kids because everybody else has kids. Stop that crap, man. Run life at your pace. You're not in a race. There's no winner here. It's your life. The only thing that you're going to do by comparing your life to somebody else's is start to feel depressed about your life if it's something that everybody else has. If you want to take a look and compare your life to what somebody else has, think about some of the homeless people out on the street during a snowstorm, during a tornado, during 110, 120 degree weather. Listen, you don't have it bad, okay? It's a psychological thing. It's up here you need to get rid of. You need to say, you know what? You're right. Listen, I don't live in a mansion. I don't live in a 5-story mansion. I don't have a dedicated garage. I don't have, 2 boats, and, I don't have all that stuff. But I don't compare myself to the people that do. I see those houses. I can drive down the street and see them. And I'm like, dang, that's a nice house. Man, that's a big yard. I hate to have to take care of that, But it's one of those things where, do I want that? Maybe. I do want portions of it. But I also don't know if that's my priority, right? So listen, take that comparison, turn it into striving, but prioritize first. Prioritize first. Listen, I prioritized my career over everything on the planet for years. I chased money, straight up chased money. And I don't know that I would change it now, but I would have a different focus about halfway through my career. And I changed at some point and I stopped chasing money. And now I just have to see if, as a new grandfather, I quite honestly see things a little bit differently. Now I chase keeping the money that I have and being able to pass it on. And now I chase all of the time that I have that I can take off of work and go spend with grandkids and with my kids and with my family and with my wife. I completely changed what my focus was at some point in my life. And you will too. At some point in your life, your focus will change. I'm not saying it's going to change the same way mine did, but I'm just saying it will. And so if you're comparing yourself to all these people like, hey, I'm taking my granddaughter out on our boat this month and we're going to fly down to the Gulf and we're going to have our boat transported down there and then we're going to go out to sea and we're going to do. I don't have a boat. I don't have no desire to have a boat moved over to the Gulf so that I can take it out to sea. I don't have to be that grandparent. You know what I desire now? What I desire now? Time. Time. I am almost 54 years old and I desire time. I look back at my 20s and the way I was living and that my time in the military, the things that I was doing, what my expectations were. I would have never thought I would have made it to 54. I would have never thought that I would have been able to be a grandparent, right? I made a lot of mistakes as a parent, so I'm terrified to be a grandparent. But you know what? I can't do that. I can't compare myself to somebody that I think is a perfect grandparent because I don't know what's going on behind the scenes there, right? That person may be struggling with anything else in their life, and it may just be eating up their lives. So embrace who you are and where you are. For me, in my family life, I was like, dang, man, I don't have this. I don't have that. I can't give my kids this. I can't give my wife that. And then I started saying, I can give. I can do this. I can do that. And at work, I started saying, I want to be able to do this. I want to be this kind of worker. I learned lessons. I learned some of the craziest lessons you could imagine when I was at work. I compared myself to others and I was like, man, how come nobody listens to me when I send them an email and I say, hey, you need you to do this, do it. Well, turns out that I had a boss who was amazing when I was at one of my companies, one of my previous jobs. And he told me, he said, listen, stop writing emails like they're instruction manuals. Start talking to somebody. Just pretend you're talking to them. Kind of like what I do when I'm talking to you through this lens. I'm not seeing a lens, I'm seeing a person on the other side. That's why I can make these communication videos, right? So I started typing and I was like, hey, dude, what's up? Hey, I was talking about this and that, and this is the problem, and I just wanted to let you know so that you could get past it. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. I'm telling you, that changed my communication style. So strive. Don't compare. Other people were better at me than getting results. So I made a change. So I found out what my deficiency was. And hey, I still write very short, very descriptive emails that are to the point, that are, hey, this is an instruction manual. I expect you to go do this, but I know when to do it a different way now. I don't compare myself to CEOs when I'm a janitor. Let me say that again. I don't compare myself to CEOs when I'm a janitor. I strive to be a CEO when I'm a janitor. And I say, okay, from janitor, what do? I go to head of maintenance. From head of maintenance, what do? Program manager for the region. Okay, from there, where do I go to? Director for all maintenance services. Okay, from there, where do I go? Vice president. You have to break it apart and set yourself aside. Stop comparing, start striving, get your career in order. For your personal life, Don't ever compare yourself to where anybody else is. This is your life. It's not their life. They're completely different people than you. Be yourself. That's this. You only get one shot to be yourself. Just be yourself. All right. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to post many more like it. I'm going to continue having my coffee now, and hope you have a great day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I greatly appreciate you watching. And in my first video that I posted, I told everybody that once I hit 5,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away a microphone set that I have that works with iPhones so that you can start your own channel doing what you want to. Listen, I don't know how many people are going to watch this, but I'm not comparing myself to other people. See ya. Take care.